Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and today I'm here to talk about Star Citizen. Toward the end of last week, CIG released a whole bunch of information detailing the upcoming version of the 3.0 update. Along with this came a schedule for the updates for the rest of this year. Now of course, Star Citizen is still in its alpha stage, but it is making tremendous progress, and this is going to be especially notable once the game reaches its version 3 update in June of this year. Version 3 is going to contain a huge number of additions, and we're going to have a look at just some of those in this video. Now the biggest of those additions of course is planetary landings. Now currently Star Citizen is set within a singular planetary system named Crusader, which in turn is located within a star system known as Stanton. Now the only area within the Stanton star system is of course Crusader, which is a gas giant and it has a number of moons around it. This is a tremendous volume of space to actually inhabit it, and there's a lot of things that can potentially be going on within there. Think of it as something along the lines of the Saturn planetary system, or even Jupiter, a big gas giant with numerous moons. So with version 3, 3 of the moons are going to become landable. These moons are as follows: the moon Yela, which is a frozen moon. It has freezing temperatures which are potentially deadly. The moon is covered with cryovolcanoes that can be dangerous to low-flying ships, and the moon also features underwater caves beneath the moon's surface. The second moon is called Selin. This is a volcanic world, though the volcanoes there are now dormant. Travelling across the surface of this world, one can find thermal geysers, as well as a layer of corrosive gas clouds. Daymar is the third planet, and this one is a blend of Yela and Selin, with mountainous surfaces. This world has a dense atmosphere with thick fog, and the lightning storms there sound very intriguing to say the least. Now as all these moons come with an atmosphere of one type or another, the game will also be supporting atmospheric entry into the planets, and this will come along with associated gameplay and visuals for that. So those are the 3 moons that CIG are planning including, but they're also hoping to include a 4th one, which is the planetary asteroid Delamar. But this one, they're not sure whether they're about to make it in, so it's a bit of a stretch aim at the moment. So if it doesn't make it into the initial release, it will probably come slightly further down the line. So what about the moons themselves? Well, it turns out they are fairly large. If you go down onto the surface of the moon Selin, for example, and use a dragonfly, it will take you 4.5 hours to circumnavigate the entire planet, and if you were to do that on foot, it will take you over 12 days to get right around the moon. So as you can imagine, there's a huge amount of surface area here. Moons will also orbit on their axis, giving you a full day-night cycle, but I couldn't find any word as to whether there'd be orbit mechanics included for these moons. Now the surface of these moons will feature various outposts and bases. Now these are to be procedurally created by CIG's modular room system, and what you'll have here are singular outposts, outpost clusters, as well as crash sites. Now it's likely that these will be dotted all over the moon, and the intent certainly seems to be to make each moon a self-contained world, with missions there, with things to discover, so that there's essentially something there for everyone. Update 3 is also going to be bringing with it a huge number of other changes. One of these is the new Item 2 system, and this will allow players to interact with in-game objects in much the same way as they would interact with objects in the real life, and this is something you rarely see in other games. What it means is that it essentially opens up a lot of possibilities for how people can interact with both the ship as well as the environments around them. Examples of this are physically loading cargo into your ship as well as physically repairing the ship. Other examples for this include operator ships, radar systems, light control systems, fuel and refueling, as well as power supply pipes and the faster than light quantum drive. Now persistence is also planned to be a big thing, with both ships and objects retaining their state and location even when you log off and log back in again. On the surface this may sound like a trivial change, but it's actually something rather significant and marks good progress towards the game's state and final completion. It actually allows CIG to implement full gameplay mechanics. Derelict ships and debris fields are also something that are going to be added into the Crusader area, and these will offer players both new locations to explore and potentially new missions as well. Now, talking of missions, Update 3 will include a new mission system, which CIG are calling the Subsumption Mission System. Now, this is a system that integrates the game's AI and conversation system in a way that allows the game to generate missions on the fly. The idea seems to be to allow for the creation of a continuous supply of missions, which are also dynamic in nature and react to whatever is going on within the game's world. The plan that is eventually this will be able to support chained or multi-part missions. Professions are also going to be a very big thing, with support for haulers, traders, pirates, bounty hunters and many other activities. CIG say these are going to be very real activities, and there seems to be plans and systems in place to fully support these, along with the possibilities for professions to support each other. This will be done through the in-game system Mobiglass, where players, such as a trader for example, may be able to hire another player for protection. Now, this isn't everything that's going to be included with Update 3. It's a patch that is going to substantially change the game, and as we get ever closer to release, I will be covering Star Citizen in ever increasing detail. CIG have gone on to share their roadmap for the rest of the year, giving players an idea of what they plan to introduce into the game. CIG understand that releasing a roadmap is very risky, and they do go to some lengths to explain the caveats in detail. However, they think the risk is very worthwhile, because ultimately, bottom line is that CIG feel it's important to keep players up to date with the game's development. It's actually a very interesting read to take a look at this report, and while CIG say it doesn't include absolutely everything, it is nonetheless very extensive. It goes on to detail some of the content releases for 3.1 as well as 3.2. For example, some of the things in 3.1 include modular space stations. They're going to also include ArcCorp. Now, I believe ArcCorp is already in the game, so I'm assuming that this will be a new and improved version of it. There's going to be numerous FPS, space-based gameplay additions, which will include new weapons as well as new systems. There's going to be a crime system, a new room system, as well as the inclusion of organisations, or what would perhaps be better known to non-Star Citizen players as guilds or clans. There's also details for 3.2, and if you want to have a look at the whole schedule, do have a look in the link in the video description. There you'll be able to find a report from CIG detailing their entire schedule for the rest of this year. Now, like I say, this video is just a brief summary of some of the content that we can expect to see in Update 3. It doesn't go into extensive detail by any means, but you can find that detail elsewhere. Nonetheless, as we ramp up towards June, I will be back with a whole bunch more of Star Citizen videos. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.